So while General Milley is in hot water for potentially breaking protocol, there are also questions about whether his actions endangered U.S. national security. I'm no military expert, as you know, but you would think telling the Chinese about our plans might put troops in harm's way. Could that be? Here with me now, Iraq combat veteran and founder of thedarksecretplace.com. Go subscribe now. It is worth every show. Brian Suits is back. So what do you make of this Milley news?
Well, I'll tell you what. The phone call to General Lee, the Director General of the Chief of the General Staff of the PLA, that'll suss out. I'm more concerned with the Speaker of the House of Representatives from the legislative branch thinking that she can foment a coup, insurrection, by calling the chief of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and convince him to somehow intercede in the nuclear chain of release, which he is not in, if people don't know that. That, to me, she was encouraging him to subvert constitutional authority because on January 8th, 2021, Donald J. Trump was still the president, and he would be for 12 more days until noon. And that, to me, is a bigger issue. If Milley doesn't resign by Friday, I'll cut all my hair off and bake it into a cake and eat it. It's what that phone call represented to me is that either she should be under investigation for exerting that influence, or he should be under investigation for not saying, with all due respect, Madam Speaker, I'll stay in my lane, you stay in yours. Because that, to me, is far more disturbing than him calling Lee, which apparently, from everything I've read, it did happen, or Bob Woodward's going to get sued, and he doesn't like being sued, and that it was not authorized. So there's how many layers of Milley should resign? He can leave his eyebrows on the desk, but he needs to resign.
So how serious is it calling China saying, seriously, you guys, like, if we're going to attack you, I'm totally going to tell you?
It's suborning treason. It's like that scene in Airplane when Ted Stryker says, no, I got to get up early because we're hitting the storage tanks in Daiquiri. We're coming in from the north. They're under the radar. It's just like that. It's like, good Lord. We had,
I can't tell you that, Brian. It's classified.
I can't tell you that was classified. We had a guy, Ryan Anderson from Everett, Washington, in my brigade before we deployed. The FBI arrested him because he thought he was communicating with Al-Qaeda, saying, hi, I'm an M1A1 Abrams tank driver. When I come to Iraq with the 303rd Armored, I would like to defect with an M1. If the FBI hadn't arrested him and we found out, we would have hung the Mike Foxtrot-er. No, what he did, if that's true, if he said, there won't be a surprise attack, don't worry, I'll call you. No, Milley should resign in absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
Yeah, it's interesting watching Kirby and Psaki defend him. And I don't know how long they can go on with these talking points, but the level of propaganda out of this administration, it is Pyongyangian. Since we got to go.
And I'm with Tom Cotton. There's a process. There's a I get it. I took the oath of enlistment, and then years later I took the oath of commissioning. I took both oaths. I know what they said, and I know that Milley violated them, violated his oath of commissioning, because he was talking to somebody from the legislative branch about mail chicken blocking the President of the United States authority, and not just nuke. He talked to the chiefs of staff of the different services. He's saying, hey, look, if the president calls Indo-Pacific Com or EUCOM or AFRICOM, go through me first. People don't know this, but the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff doesn't command any troops. He's an administrator. He's a representative. His job is to go to the SecDef and say, hey, can we 25th Amendment talk on this? Can you get the cabinet together? That's his job.
Yeah, and then, if it had reached that level, that's what you do. You don't necessarily call the communist Chinese and say, might nuke you. Brian Suits, thank you so much.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, bye.